Good Monday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Monday. I am your meteorologist, Jess Peterson, and let's go and talk about the weather for your Monday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about, got my list right here for the next 7 days, over the stuff that's going to happen, obviously, with tonight and through the next 7 days as well. We're going to be talking about, again, just our daily storm chances and just our active weather that will continue. We're going to be talking about how temperatures will slightly get cooler as we go through the midweek. We've been talking about that. Honestly, I think we talked about that yesterday. And then also on Friday, we talked about it as well. Also, fog and low clouds. And pretty much our pattern stays pretty much stagnant. Um, Pretty much from today going all the way through July, pretty much there's not really going to be too much changing in terms of the weather as we continue through, and I'll show that once we get to our long-term future. But before we get into all that, make sure that you go on and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button if you have not already. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're at 535 right now. 65, yeah, 65 away from our main goal of 600, and we are 15 away from our little semi goal of 550, which would be the halfway mark for getting to 600. So if you have not shared it with somebody that you know of or that you're thinking about right now, make sure that you go on and send it to them. But let's go on now and talk with the audience, the recorded audience, for the people who can unfortunately not make it here tonight. Good Monday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Monday. I am your meteorologist, Jess Peterson, and let's go and talk about the weather for your Monday evening going into your future. Looking at the radar right now for the entire state of South Carolina, we do have some rainfall going on over here in like northern South Carolina near like Bufford and Jefferson, and going just to the south of Ruby and Chesterfield, South Carolina as well. Also near Hartsville, receiving some rainfall as well. Shower activity also going on down here near Luray and Estill, South Carolina. And then over here, we have a storm that's currently moving its way, seems to be south out of South Carolina, about to move through Graniteville and Burnett Town, and about to go through North Augusta as well. As we look at throughout the entire United States, you can see we do have some rainfall going on from places like North Carolina going into Virginia, all the way into New Jersey, New York City, Massachusetts, and Connecticut as well. Also, places like New Hampshire and Maine also have some rainfall as well. Pennsylvania going into Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, and all these places over here. Florida getting a bunch of rainfall from that low pressure, and then also some storms going on through South Dakota, Nebraska, maybe even Colorado, and then also Nevada and Montana as well. As we move into our cloud cover right now is showing some pretty heavy cloud cover from like Columbia over towards Augusta, going through the low country of South Carolina, going towards Florence as well. And so this cloud cover right here will pretty much continue as we go through. And we talked about how the cloud cover was going to intensify more and more as the day progressed, and to an extent, yes, it did. If you go on and look at even our future cloud cover, you can see what I'm talking about. That cloud cover will keep on intensifying. This will be tomorrow morning right here. You can see mostly everyone is covered with cloud cover. Again, can change, but for right now, it's looking like a lot of people in that 100% range. Some people in like the 80%, 60%. Just matters where you are. But as you continue it forward, this is tomorrow evening right here. Cloud cover starts to get a little bit more, starts to dissipate a little bit more, especially than it was like later tonight or early tomorrow morning. But it's still there for a lot of regions like the Grand Strand PD region, and cloud cover will most likely be present in those areas. If we go into our current temperatures right now, 80 in Columbia as well as 79 in Orangeburg, 81 in Somerville as well as 80 in Georgetown, 80 in Myrtle Inlet as well as 80 in Myrtle Beach, 79 in Conway as well as 80 in North Myrtle Beach, 81 in Charleston as well as 78 in Newburgh, 80 inside of Greenwood as well as 79 in Greenville, 78 in Spartanburg as well as 78 in Gaffney, 79 in York, and 78 in Rock Hill as well. Low temperatures for tonight, 73 in Greenville as well as 73 in Spartanburg, 72 in Rock Hill as well as 72 in Winsboro, 74 in Columbia as well as 74 in Orangeburg, 73 in Walterboro as well as 73 in Moncks Corner, 72 in Kingstree, and 75 in Georgetown, 78 in Charleston, and 77 not only in Hilton Head Island but also in Myrtle Beach. Going into our rainfall, this goes all the way from 8 p.m. tonight, going all the way into 8 p.m. tomorrow night. You can see around 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch for places like Dillon, going into Kingstree, going into Walterboro and Barnwell as well, going into Lawrence and Anderson's included in there, Greenwood's included in there, and maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch for places like Chirag, going into Columbia and Winsboro. Rock Hill's included in there, Spartanburg's included in there, and then a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for like Newbury and Moncks Corner. And Charleston's also included in there as well. And then half an inch to an inch for like up there near Greenville as well. Maybe even an inch to potentially 2 inches going on in some isolated spots up there inside of the either like the upstate or the northern PD region of South Carolina, or some isolated region will get 1 to 2 inches as we move through the next 24 hours or so. Now for severe weather, we did have this marginal risk right here of severe weather. For now, it is still there. They have not given us an update on it yet. So for right now, we're still going to say that there is still a marginal risk of severe weather still for tonight. Includes Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Columbia, Aiken. Even though most of the storms have dissipated, they still haven't updated it yet. So we're going to keep that there. Tomorrow, we do have just no threat for any sort of severe thunderstorms. Now the last marginal risk was updated late last night, right around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So that's why I didn't catch it with my morning forecast update. But it's the same thing right here for Tuesday. No severe weather is really expected. We'll see if they add that marginal risk though. And if you go into Wednesday, there is again no risk for any sort of severe weather as we move through for Tuesday and Wednesday. For now, that might change, but for right now, it's looking like that. No severe weather for now. For excessive rainfall, we're going to look at this one here. So this right here is day 1. This goes all the way from tonight going into tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. No excessive rainfall is expected as we move into tomorrow. This tomorrow morning going all the way into Wednesday morning. Minor flooding is going to be an issue. Maybe some isolated flash flooding for like Greenville, Spartanburg, going up into Anderson and Greenwood, Columbia, Rock Hill, Sumter, Florence, Conway, Myrtle Beach. All of these regions have a threat for some isolated flash flooding tomorrow. And then for Wednesday morning going into Thursday morning, you see that we do have, again, just another minor risk of flooding or some isolated flash flooding up here for this majority of the upstate, Greenville, Spartanburg, Clemson, Anderson, all of these places. Then continuing through even more, again, just pushes more and more up. This goes from Thursday morning all the way into Saturday morning. Just minor risk of flooding as we go through. Up here in the upstate for like Walhalla, Pickens as well is included in there. But that's it in terms of excessive rainfall. Never really get into the slight risk for now. Let's go on now and look at the models. So the models here, times in the top right corner of your screen. Make sure you go in and pay attention to that. As we go in and push this forward, you can see that that rainfall will continue to go on. By time, even when we get past 12 o'clock in the morning, that rainfall will still be present. By the time you get to around 4 or 5, maybe even to 6 to 8 a.m., still relatively dry. But by the time we get to around maybe 10, 11 a.m., some shower activity might be starting to push into like the coastal regions. And then 12 to 1 p.m., they still are going on, maybe getting a bit more inland as we get into the afternoon. Now, if you go into like even further than that, you can see by around 2 p.m. it starts to really make its way inland, and then thunderstorms start to pop off. We start to get probably around 6, 7 p.m. going all the way into 12 a.m. is mainly when that time frame for that minor flooding could potentially be present. And then by the time you get even further, like July 16th at 3 a.m., not really seeing much until around 7 to 8 a.m. where we can start to see some more shower activity again going through, and then some more thunderstorm activity starts to pop up for Wednesday. As we go into our long-term future now, as we go in and push this forward, July 16th going all the way into the 17th, one thing that I obviously just wanted to say, obviously, is we have just this active period that is continuing. Now, you can see there is some lulls here and there, but overall, for the most part, it's still staying relatively active. Remember, I said around July 27th to the 28th. Once we get to around July 27th, we really can't say anything past there. But that little area that I'm watching, I'm pretty sure this is the cold front right here. If I go in and check out the anomaly, you can see that cold air takes over. It's not I believe that's a cold front right here. I'm pretty sure this is the cold front that's showing on the models right here. Not as defined as it was like last night. Like you can see here, I mean, you can easily tell that this was a cold front as all the cold air moved its way down. But the one for today just honestly does not look as defined as it was. But it still shows a lot of cool air by the time we get to the very last few days of July. So we'll continue to see what's happening there. But for now, warmer than average temperatures remain. If we go into the next couple of days, though, because I know obviously I just said at the beginning that Wednesday there could potentially be a little bit of a cool down as well. And you can see for sure it's going to be a bit cooler than average on Wednesday. Now, what's the exact temperature is going to be? I mean, for high temperatures, for most of us, well, this is Tuesday. Going into Wednesday, I know, it's 90 degrees obviously is not cool for most, but it's definitely cooler than the high 90s for sure. And even in the morning, for example, I mean, it's going to be in the 70s, maybe even some in the low 70s. And then by the time you get into Wednesday night, going into Thursday, I mean, those low temperatures are pretty much going to stay again in that 70 range. So again, this is not going to be like a regular 10 to 15 degree below average, cold blast that moves in. It's going to be relatively weak, but, even if it's 5 to 7 degrees less, that's still technically a cool down. So for now, it's looking like that it will just get a little bit cooler though. So that's it in terms of the temperature anomaly. That's what I wanted to show, and pretty much, this pattern that we have is pretty much going to stay stagnant, with the Bermuda high dominance, inland troughing, and then the storm chance is pretty much will stay enhanced by the sea breeze, and then also by the daytime heating as well. And so that's pretty much it for our long-term future. Let's go on and look at the tropics. So this is something that we've been seeing a lot of. If you have been watching, news or any type of weather forecast, they probably have been talking about this disturbance down here near Florida. And I'm about to answer if it has any sort of threat to South Carolina, but it is now an Invest. It's Invest 93. In an area of low pressure located offshore the east coast of Florida continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms, primarily south of its center. This system is forecast to move west across the Florida Peninsula on Tuesday and Tuesday night, eventually moving into the northeastern Gulf by the middle part of this week. Environmental conditions appear generally favorable for additional development if the system remains offshore, and a tropical depression could form as the system moves across the northeastern and the north central Gulf by the middle to later portion of this week. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall could produce localized flash flooding over portions of Florida and the north central Gulf Coast through the middle to later portion of this week. So pretty much the formation chance through the next 48 hours, there's a 30% chance of this thing forming into a tropical depression over the next 48 hours and a 40% chance of it forming into a tropical depression over the next 7 days. So we're in the code orange right now, and this could potentially turn into a tropical depression, and if not, a tropical storm. If you go on and see what current models are saying about it right now, here's 93. This is the current satellite loop of it. You can see that right now, it is currently causing a lot of rainfall throughout Florida. The low pressure is right here, and it's causing all of this moisture throughout Florida and portions of Georgia as well. Now, if you go in and look at the hurricane models first, most of it has it going up towards like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama as well, leaving no impact to South Carolina at all. But if you go on to the GFS, again, pretty much same thing, makes its way up, and kind of like the center of the track has it going towards like Louisiana. And then for the GEPS, same thing, going over honestly more land than water, and then making its way up towards Mississippi. Now, in terms of intensity, right now most models say it's a tropical depression at the most, but one thing that I do want to say is that models were pretty wrong when it came to Chantal. I mean, we were not expecting that thing to become a tropical storm until like just models said that it was going to be a bit lower than expected, but then it ended up intensifying a lot higher than we thought it was going to be when Chantal made landfall into South Carolina, between, I believe, somewhere near Georgetown. But so this could potentially have that impact, and you can see that some models are already going up into that tropical storm guide right now. But most still have it as a tropical depression for now. But I would not be surprised. I believe Dexter is the next name, so would not be surprised one bit if Tropical Storm Dexter did form with this invest right here. So does this have a threat for South Carolina? Most likely not. We will most likely not be affected by this at all. Mostly just a problem for the Gulf Coast and Florida as well, and like the eastern portion of Florida and most of inland Florida as well, as they get flash flooding for them. So, but for South Carolina, no, nothing really for us though. Let's go and look at the crazy score. We are at a 34 for tonight inside the moderate category. Noticeable weather conditions such as moderate rain, wind, or minor storms. Why? Those isolated storms may linger but will weaken and obviously fade. Patchy fog and low clouds are likely overnight, especially the more inland you go. Muggy conditions persist with high humidity and saturated ground. Overnight lows stay warm, ranging from 71 to 75 degrees. But overall, a calm, quiet night, regular night in South Carolina, especially after those leftover showers dissipate. But that's it for the main forecast portion for South Carolina. Let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's go on and talk with the audience. Starting off first, Salvador says, good evening, not much happening at my house today. The pond still looks good. Will we be affected by the tropical system near Florida? No, we will most likely not be affected by that storm. So for right now, I think that nobody should be worrying. Nobody should be preparing. Well, I mean, you should always be prepared just in case if worse comes to worse. But for right now, I wouldn't say you need to start going buying water, buying food. I mean, you should already have it. But you get what I'm trying to say. You shouldn't have to go out and get that stuff. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, Weatherman. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great day. Had some strong thunderstorms rolling through Moncks Corner around 3:30 p.m. Thanks for that weather report. Hello to you. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Cooler. Yes. Morning walks, potentially. I mean, if 70s is your cool, morning walks, then yes, for sure. That's definitely a great thing, especially for Wednesday morning, and maybe even Thursday morning as well. But for the most part, that's pretty much almost going to be like every night. Really, that cool down was really going to happen, especially during like the hottest portions of the day, with some high temperatures only getting to like the 90s, for example. My aunt Shirley says, hello everyone. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you as well. Thad says, good evening, Joseph. I trust all is well with you. It's been slightly cooler this year, and we are getting a little more rain than normal. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling it like it is. Thank you. No problem for that. Hopefully all is good with you as well. My name says, hi, Jay. Hello to you. And then Ms. Oliver says, sound like you were cutting in and out. From my end right now, everything looks, perfect from my end right now, so I don't see anything right now that could potentially be causing that. But that's it for the chat. If you want to go on and leave another chat inside the chat, you can by just typing it. You have to be a subscriber to the channel because it's on subscriber only mode, and you obviously have to have an account as well to subscribe. But let's go on now and talk about the 3 locations outside of South Carolina, that being San Antonio, Raleigh, and Philadelphia. So starting off with San Antonio first, low temperatures tonight at around 78, high temperatures tomorrow at 95, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 77. There is a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight, and then there also is a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. No precipitation is expected tonight. Now, severe weather. For severe weather, there actually is no severe weather that is expected for the next 8 days for now. And in terms of excessive rainfall, there is indeed a slight risk for some excessive rainfall as we move through tonight and tomorrow, with those thunderstorms that move through. So some scattered flash flooding is potentially possible. As you go into tomorrow, some minor flooding is possible, maybe some isolated flash flooding. But after that, that's pretty much it in terms of excessive rainfall. Raleigh being the next location with low temperatures tonight 74, high temperatures tomorrow at 90, low temperatures tomorrow night at 74, chance of thunderstorms tonight and tomorrow during the day, and then there also is a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow night as well. There is no severe weather that is expected there either. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, some minor flooding or maybe even some isolated flash flooding is possible as you go through tomorrow. And then Philadelphia being the last location, low temperatures tonight 73, high temperatures tomorrow at 89, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 74. Thunderstorms are likely tonight, showers are likely tomorrow, and then a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow night as well. In terms of severe weather, no severe weather is expected for now, and excessive rainfall. There is actually a moderate risk of excessive rainfall as you move through tonight and going into tomorrow morning as well. So some flash flooding is indeed possible. We're not talking about scattered flash flooding. We're talking about some widespread flash flooding is possible as you get into tonight into tomorrow. So definitely make sure that if you're watching that, if you're going out. Tomorrow, minor flooding is also in the question for tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday as well. And that's it for those three locations. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Slow-moving showers and thunderstorms may result in flash flooding for portions of the mid-Atlantic region through tonight. Meanwhile, excessive heat will continue to build across the west through Tuesday, not Thursday. Heat advisories and extreme heat warnings are in effect. Fire weather conditions continue for the west with dry and breezy conditions, watching the tropics and the southeast. So, a lot going on. I mean, we even have air quality alerts for fires going on in New York. Vermont's included, Chicago's included, Indiana's included, Michigan, and even northern Minnesota is included as well. I mean, we talked about the heat. California, Nevada's getting some heat. Las Vegas, for example, getting some extreme heat. And then flooding going on throughout that central Texas region, southern Arizona, and Oklahoma and Arkansas as well. So a lot going on, like a whole lot going on. But for now, it's looking like that. We're just staying in this active period throughout the entire U.S. Let's go on and check out the chat one more time. That says, did you receive any pictures and videos from right now? From what I know, I have. I have received some. Actually, yes, I received it around. Let me see, how many pictures did I get? I got around 8 or 9 new new photos and videos. 5 of them or 6 of them actually come from Thad. And here's the first one of 5. His caption says, "We are getting some more rain. I wish it would stop because it hinders the search effort down in Kirk County. I just hope and pray it does not impact them down there." So these are some pictures that he did send for us to see. Here's the first one right here. You can see a picture of his front yard where it looks like it is raining. You see the clouds in the background. By the time you continue this even further, more pictures that you can see here. Just kind of just panning throughout the entire front yard, giving us a lot of good angles. So thank you so much for those pictures right there. You did send me a video, but it actually is from an Apple phone. Let me see if I can go on. It says, okay, I got it right here. Here it is right here. The video, again, pretty much just shows same thing as front yard, raining throughout his house, which again, I mean, you're inside of a drought right now. So you definitely do need the rainfall, but obviously not in the flash flooding style that we have been seeing it in for, especially like you just said, down there in Kirk County, like you just said. So great to see the rainfall in the places that need it, but in those spots, definitely not the best. Here's another picture right here or another video right here from his backyard. Here, and then that is it. Those are the only videos that I got. So thank you so much for those pictures and videos right there. And then Mr. Chris sent me 2 videos. This is thunderstorms rolling into Moncks Corner at 3:35 p.m. today. Here is the first one right here to the top of the picture if you would like, and then here's the bottom part of it. But see, I mean, pretty dark clouds, especially in the distance, so I'm going to assume that the storm's coming from this way, moving towards you. As we move into the next one, here's the next one right here. You can easily spot where the thunderstorm is coming from. Now it's kind of seems to be moving towards the right direction, or moving either towards you in some capacity. But I mean, this right here, I mean, especially the atmosphere in South Carolina, I mean, this usually is what you may see, you know, like 4 or 5 p.m., where it's kind of light, but then you have the dark clouds in the distance, and then you hear the thunder, you know, not raining, but you still have the sun, and then just in the distance, you just have the thunderstorm going on. But that's mainly around like an afternoon, like 3, 4 p.m. type deal right there. But that's it. Those are all the pictures that we received for tonight. If you want to send a picture or a video, you can by sending them to scweather360 at gmail.com. Again, that is scweather, the initials for South Carolina, weather360 at gmail.com. So if you go on and send it to that as well. Last thing before we go on and get out for tonight, let's talk about the top fans for tonight. Tied for first, we have Trail, Mr. Chris, and then Miss Tolliver. All got the top 3 spots tied for first. Thad is in second. And then, obviously, my aunt Shirley, Mr. Anthony, and my Nana is all in tied for third at 5th, 6th, and 7th. So thanks to the 7 of y'all for being contributors inside of the chat tonight. And there may be some other people in here that was not included, but if you want to be a part of that list and you want to be higher up, you got to be active inside the chat. You got to be typing, you know, being active, and that's how you move your way higher and higher up the chat list. But that's pretty much it. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. Hit the share button as well. Share with all the people that you know. We're at 535 subscribers, trying to get to 665 subscribers away from our goal of 600, and then 15 away from our kind of like our milestone of getting to 600, which is 550. So let's go on and get there. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Tuesday morning forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Monday.